These companies can go and buy a gold card, and they can use it as a matter of recruitment. At the same time, the company is using that money to pay down debt. We're going to pay down a lot of debt with that.
200,000 of these gold green cards is $1 trillion to pay down our debt. And that's why the president is doing it, because we are going to balance this budget and we are going to pay off the debt under President Trump.
Well, joining us tonight, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Thanks for having us here at the Commerce Department.
Great to be with you.
How'd that cabinet meeting go today? First one.
It was so fun. You know, we have such a great cabinet. There's great camaraderie. The feeling is just fire. And this administration is winning. Every day it's winning.
Let me talk about what you were talking about there, the EB-5 program, which is gold green cards, $5 million that essentially gets you a pathway to citizenship. Explain, first of all, how that came to be.
So there's an EB-5 program that always had, if you invest in real estate or make a loan in America, you get a path to citizenship with a green card. And so the president had conversations over the weekend with his friend John Paulson, who came up and said, hey, why aren't we doing better with that? He called me, we talked about it, then I did work over the weekend on Monday, and on Tuesday at a press conference, the president comes out and gives the path, which says, imagine if we sell 1 million of them, that's $5 trillion, and that pays off our debt, drives down interest rates, and makes America amazing.
So the coverage of it, you know, Trump gold card to offer rich foreigners route to U.S. citizenship for $5 million. Trump says U.S. can pay off $36 trillion debt by selling wealthy immigrants $5 million gold card visas. And then Politico took another take. Trump, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. What do you say to people who say,
oh, come on.
Yeah, no, not about that. Are they going to be vetted, first of all?
Of course. Deeply vetted, and we said that from the first minute go. These are vetted people. These are going to be great global citizens who are going to bring entrepreneurial spirit, capacity, and growth to America. If one of them comes in, think of the jobs they're going to bring with them, the businesses they're going to bring with them, and they're going to pay American taxes as well. So this is huge money for America.
And how many people are waiting in this line currently?
So there are 250,000 people waiting in line now. If they're willing to pay the $5 million, that's over $1 trillion. That comes directly to $1.25 trillion just for that line. And I think these people are going to come enormous ways because they know they can come into America and they can be in the greatest country on earth.
You're kind of bullish when you talk about paying down the debt. And you said it again today in the cabinet meeting. You truly believe that with this program, with DOGE, you can make this money all materialize and counteract a really skyrocketing deficit?
So if you go back to my Twitter feed, which I'm sure no one does, but October 14th, when I recruited Elon and came up with the name DOGE, October 14th, we agreed to balance the budget, that he would take $1 trillion of expense out. Remember, we have just under $4 trillion of entitlements, but no one's ever gone through it. No one's ever looked at it. If I told you no one's ever looked at it, you've got to assume 25% is just mistakes, errors, and is wrong. That's $1 trillion a year. We do tariffs. We do the gold card, we drill, baby, drill, and we get rid of these tax scams that are all over the United States of America, and that'll produce $1 trillion in revenue, $1 trillion in cuts, and $1 trillion in revenue always balances this budget, and we're going to do it.
Very successful businessman. Your firm, very successful. Were you always pro-tariff?
No, I didn't even know what a tariff was until I met Donald Trump. I mean, basically, look, I worked, I made money, and then when I was at the top of my game, we had September 11th, and my world was destroyed, and all I really wanted to do was rebuild the company and take care of those families. I didn't really think about politics until Donald Trump called me at the end of 2023 and asked me would I help him. Now, he was my friend. He's been my friend for decades and decades, and I decided I would help him, and that's when he started teaching me about tariffs. So I want to be clear. Donald Trump taught me first, but then I'm a very, very quick learner, and I read a lot, and I understand everything about tariffs now, and that's why he gave that order on January 20th, launching me to study everything, which gives him all the tools on April 1st, so he can set tariffs across the world on April 2nd.
So he says numerous times that tariff is now one of his favorite words,
Right.
one of the top 4 at least.
Correct.
He says it is pure good. It's going to enrich the country. You believe that?
I do believe it, because we have to care about Americans. You know, the global view that says if I move car manufacturing out of Michigan, out of Ohio, to Mexico and to Canada, doesn't that lower our costs? It does. But what does it do to Americans who live in Michigan and Ohio? You know what it does? It decimates their community. You lose U.S. Steel from Pittsburgh, you are going to blitz Pittsburgh and that whole community. So someone's got to care about these workers. Someone's got to care about these people. And the combination of bringing that back, that manufacturing back, or you don't want to bring it back, you pay the duty on the way in the door, you pay the tariff on the way in the door. It's a win-win. You're going to see unbelievable growth from the American economy, and we're going to balance the budget with those money.
So if it's pure good, if it is for enrichment, why delay it at all? Why not levy the tariffs tomorrow?
Oh, because the rules, so what happens is, in order for the president to issue tariffs, he has to follow the laws that have been written by Congress. And those laws say he's got to study the problem, define the problem, and then execute a solution to the problem. And those problems are obvious to us. We've been treated like crap by everybody. I mean, India, think about this. Modi comes and visits the president. And as the kindness of his heart, he says, I'm going to reduce the tariff on Kentucky bourbon from 150% to only 100%. I mean, talk about guts. You got to be kidding me. These countries treat us like crap. And now President Trump has said, enough. We are going to be treated fairly around the world. This policy started in 1945, 80 years ago. Do you think it's time that we refresh it a little?
So today at the cabinet meeting, you explained that Mexico and Canada, they had this 30-day pause for the 25%, and they're going to stipulate border security measures and fentanyl interdiction and show that. And if the president likes that, do they still not get the tariff? It seemed to me like he was still talking like even if that 25% tariff is probably going to go on Mexico and Canada.
So on April 2nd, when he says April 2nd, that's the baseline tariff. That says how you treat us is how you get treated. So you think, okay, well, we have USMCA, right? So we're supposed to have a free trade agreement with Canada, but they have a 5% national tax. Oh, well, that's 5%. They tax all our dairy products. They tax so many different things, lumber, they tax our food. It's outrageous. They basically cheat around the sides, and then when we don't act, they stop cheating around the sides. They cheat right down the middle. And the president is sick and tired of it. He's sick and tired of the countries adjacent to us inviting in China to their model, right? Who does steel in Mexico? You think it's Mexicans? No, it's Chinese companies. It's got to stop. The president's on it. So here's what he said. Tariffs, if you don't stop the fentanyl, you don't stop killing Americans, I'm going to slap a 25% tariff on you, and I'm going to teach you a lesson. So they immediately put their military on the border. They started stopping it. So we'll just see if they did a good job or not. We'll see. But then April 2nd, it's his turn to say what's fairness, who's treating us fairly, and everybody's got to negotiate.
Tariffs.
That's reciprocal. How you treat us is how we'll treat you. And doesn't that sound sort of reasonable?
Yeah. So I guess, although businesses on Wall Street, and you know them well, they're skeptical. Consumer confidence they look at went down 7 points in February. They see jittery feelings in the U.S. economy, and they wonder whether this is going to boomerang back on U.S. consumers. Is, I guess, the feeling. Do you hear that from businesses when they talk about tariffs?
Because Wall Street companies look at one at a time, right? If I'm importing goods and I have a tariff on me, how's that going to work for my shareholders, me? Wall Street analysts don't look at America writ large, American people writ large. Donald Trump was elected by who? A majority of Americans to do what? To take care of America. And if that doesn't work out for your particular company, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it's not so good for you. You might have to pay the tariff. But let me tell you, if you drive down our budget deficit, interest rates come smashing down. You balance this budget, interest rates in America are under 2%, right? And not by monetary nonsense. like really below 2%. Mortgages are so much cheaper. Food costs are so much cheaper. Our farmers can sell everywhere in the world. America explodes by winning. And that's Donald Trump's objective. And that's what we're out there to try to do.
And last thing on this, is it going to take some time to get, you say they're going to come back. I mean, that's not overnight, right? I mean, that doesn't happen overnight if these businesses, to avoid tariffs, are going to come back.
Right, that takes 2 years for sure. You can't build a factory in less than 2 years. So that's why you hear Donald Trump talking about, I'm going to clear the path on permitting. I'm going to clear the path on regulation. I'm going to let these factories get built here. And what you're going to see is the employment of electricians, but not an electrician who comes in and fixes our kitchen lights, but electricians who work in factories or mechanics who fix robots. I mean, these are going to be jobs that pay $200,000, $300,000, and we're going to take trade craft in America. Tradecraft, the steel workers and auto workers, and these people are going to have great jobs going forward, millions and millions of great jobs going forward. There's never been a president who's understood the global economy the way Donald Trump does, and he's going to deliver to the American people, and that's why I'm all in. He actually understands, and it's really amazing and fun.
Let me ask you another question, different topic, quickly. The U.S. Postal Service coming under commerce. I mean, where did that come from, and what is that about, and how will Americans deal with it? Will it affect their mail?
No, it won't affect their mail. So the concept was, I'm sitting with the president, and the costs of the post office are like it loses $7 billion. And he said, can you do something with it? And I said, sure. So I saw him the next day, he goes, okay, what do you got? You know, he gives me a whole 24 hours to figure it out. And I said, well, the Commerce Department does the census. And we spend $40 billion every 10 years doing the census. And that means we hire 625,000 people. And they go and they rent cars and gas, and you pay them food. And you know what they do? They go to every household in America and count the people. What department do we already have that already employs 625,000 people? It's got cars, already has gas, goes to every household. Can you imagine saying to your postman, can you count the people in the house? What day could he do the census? Monday? Could he double check it on Tuesday? How about Wednesday? He goes every day. So we can only save $40 billion or $4 billion a year, and we'll do a better job. And you know what else we can do with the post office? They can go to your house when you have a baby and give you the form for Social Security. And the 20,000 Social Security offices that we have, we just don't need them. We actually can do real customer service. Go right to your house. Someone died, here's the forms, you can fill it out. I'll bring them to your house. Customer service. Why? Because we've got those people. Let's use the assets of the government to make us better and save us money. We can be smart, you know. We're allowed.
What concerns you most? You're fired up about this job. Everybody can see that. You're excited about all the things you're talking about. What concerns you most about where the country is or where we're going?
The opportunity in front of us is so great. The thing that concerns me most is China. There's a giant country who hates us, who wants us to not have this way of life, and the rest of the world not so much. So the issue is, how do you make sure that they don't run like Huawei? And you say, well, why do I care about that? Well, if they get in the phone system, they'll turn it off. You know, these kind of things, we've got to protect ourselves, and we've got to protect our allies who get weak, who want to buy it cheap. Right? They dump cars. Think about it. We won't let a Chinese car come here. Right? Europe let them come. They started selling a car that cost 30,000 euro for 17,000. Cost was 30. And what Volkswagen started saying, we're going to start closing plants. They're trying to crush us. And we need to pay attention. And thank God we have Donald Trump in the White House, because he's paying attention. He's going to bring the pharmaceuticals back, the semiconductors back. We have to protect ourselves and be powerful as a country. We are the greatest country on earth. We will not cut one penny from someone who deserves Social Security, someone who deserves Medicare. But let me tell you, all that crap of waste and fraud and abuse, that's out of here. We're going to balance this budget. We're going to drive interest rates down, and we're going to make the greatest America great again.
Mr. Secretary, we appreciate the time. We'll take a little tour a little later in the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming to my place.
I appreciate it.